Look at that, man. I'm getting so tech savvy. You would think I'm 25. All right. So uh, I'll go ahead and start. If you have never read, um, if you have never read Seven Levels of Communication, you definitely need to. This uh, flows right along with their system, and it also, if you've never taken the disc profile, highly encourage you to do that, whether you're working with home builders uh, or even just anyone else. That once you find out who you are in that system, it's much easier to communicate with whoever you're in front of because they just you want to communicate the way they want to communicate, not the way you want to communicate. Good morning, Jerry. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. All right, so creating your uh, creating your own inventory with home builders. Um, and this follows, as we said, right along with Michael Mayer's system in 7L. We're going to talk about a powerful opportunity in real estate, moving from chasing transactions to building relationships and creating opportunities. You'll learn how to build influential, high trust relationships with builders using these principles. And as we said, once you understand how to intentionally build relationships, you're gaining more inventory, more referrals, more consistency in your business. We're going to cover uh, talking about once you get in connected with home builders, you're getting their whole group. So you're able to support the home builders by connecting them with potential suppliers and vendors and subcontractors. But once you do connect with them, you're also getting their group of those people. And it's just a trust builder and it's beneficial to your general clients, all that. So I started this system in 2020, maybe 2021. I had COVID. I was stowed away in a bedroom. And back then, when you had COVID, your family didn't even want to be around you. And we have kind of learned it's very similar to the flu now. And it's not quite so strict, but at that time we didn't know. And so I was stuck in my room. I watched The Last Dance, Michael Jordan documentary, all the way through, and then I decided, hey, I'm wasting my time. I need to do something that will move my business forward, and I chose that to I'm going to look through the MLS, figure out who's holding the most market share in my area, and I found it was builder agents primarily from the the track builders. We have two major builders in the area, and those guys were dominating the market. So I reached out to a couple of them that I knew personally, and I said, "Hey, how can I do what you're doing, maybe on a smaller scale, focusing on local builders?" And they said, "Well, I don't really know, but I will tell you the majority of our sales come from proposed construction on the vacant lots. We'll build a model home, and then we have all these other lots, and we'll put our intended home plans on these lots as proposed construction. And we get calls. People come into the model home, but they want to pick out their lot, they want to pick out their plan, and then all their colors and all their finishes. And so I was like, it kind of light bulb went off. I can reach out to all these home builders. It took me 30 phone calls to different builders, and the 31st one took me up on it. And I had nothing but time, so I'm like, I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep calling. And one guy gave me three lots that he already owned, and he had house plans that he had built in the area. We listed those as proposed construction. I had no idea what I was really doing, but through that, I ended up connecting with a client. I drove up there with my windows up on the phone with him as he walked 3 lots. Didn't make any kind of close contact because I had COVID. But 8 o'clock that night, he called me ready to write a contract on one of those lots. And so that energized me. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to connect with builders. It took a while, but now I work with 4 builders. I had a call this morning with a builder that might become my fifth. And it's the main focus of my business nowadays. So here we go. Buyers, many buyers want new construction, and to become their agent for that, building relationships with the builders is your first step. Everywhere you go, when you're searching for homes, you're showing homes, you're seeing vacant lots in a lot of cases. And I know that's the case where I live. You'll see a vacant lot that was left and forgotten when the subdivision was developed, and the family is just paying taxes on it and it's doing nothing. That vacant lot can become a proposed construction listing, uh, and you work this strategy and you tell them, hey, I've got this relationship with a builder and we can do this. Uh, but you want to start by thinking small. And I will tell you guys, if you opened up the fillable worksheet that I sent out to everyone, everything in the presentation, and I think I even sent you guys the whole full presentation. But if it's underlined and in bold, that's the answers to the questions. So you don't have to take notes as you go. It's all there for you. That I don't like taking notes in meetings because I would rather be fully attentive and interactive. So if you have a question as we go, don't worry about raising your hand because I can't focus on watching hands raised. Just unmute and interrupt me and let's cover it. Uh, and as we finish today, um, you have my phone number. Reach out anytime, every single day if you want to. I love helping other agents, probably more than I enjoy helping clients. And if I can help you in any way, I'm here. Um,
I can attest to that.
yeah, Jody and I talk often. So, but your strategy in this and really with any relationship is giving first. Uh, if you have a builder that you would like to approach, um, first go into them asking, "Hey, I see what you're doing." Uh, Give them praise for what they've accomplished. Hey, I see that you built a great house, that you have a great reputation in the market. Would you mind if I share on social media some of the stuff that you either are doing or have done? And it gets me attention in the market and it helps me promote you. And in any relationship, I would love to have a give first attitude so that whenever we have the opportunity to work together, that value is already there. I want to bring something to the table. So share photos on social media, spotlight them, work in an offer to uh, list, market their product on an unlisted lot, and go ahead and subtly work that in so that as your process goes, continues, then they see your value. They see what you're doing. Most businesses in general, especially the smaller businesses, uh, start out and they are the whole team. My dad roofed houses my whole life, and he never had any marketing, never had any advertising. He uh, he benefited solely on word of mouth marketing, and he had an unpaid sales staff of anybody who was proactive in telling their friends about that he did a good job for them. Uh, by working this system and offering them what you're doing, you can become the sales staff for these local businesses. I have a weekly networking group that meets every Thursday morning, and I've pushed this strategy to every one of them that it's almost like a BNI group. Uh, that like let's find out how we can best support each other, and let's go out into the market being proactive and mindful of each other, and find ways that we can share each other's products and each other's service with those around us. And if we're all mindful of that, then we're all going to help each other become successful. With home builders, I go to the extreme with that, because not only do I get their referrals, but it's an opportunity for me to get an endless amount of listings. All I have to do is find the land to do it on. So uh, ask them about their biggest challenges. They've got a lot going on, and most of the time they're the hands-on guy. They're ordering materials. They're dealing with the homeowner. They're dealing with the land. They're dealing with the city inspections, all that stuff. As a realtor with a lot of connections, you can become a great resource for builders. You just have to listen to what they need and ask questions about, what's your biggest challenge right now? Who can I connect you to that might make your life a little easier? All these things happen before you even start working with them if you're proactive. And once you have an opportunity to work with them, then your value as part of the relationship is already there. So, uh, as I said, bring value first. Uh, Invite connections. Schedule a short meetup. See them on a job site. It's normally pretty easy to pick out the builder. He's the best dressed one on the job site. If he's a successful builder, he's more of a manager of subcontractors than he is the guy holding the hammer. And so, go out there and as I said, that most builders they're not going to go in and do a video of their work, but they would love for you to do it if you mention that. Um, let's see, somebody sent me a chat. Uh, Oh, I see. Okay. Rob's talking about being an IS. I'm exactly who you are. And you and I talked yesterday about all the networking meetings that I have coming up in Atlanta. Um, I want to connect with as many people as I can and bring value to those people. Uh, and that's where the value comes back to me. So
I want to do the same as trying to get lined up with people, so that'll
yeah.
be it'll be fun.
Well,
That Hawks game
all of the
sounded
things
fun.
that I told you I'm doing,
Hmm.
if you want links to all that, I'll be happy to send it to you. We'll do it. Um,
Sounds good.
but again, meet them where they are. Find the local restaurant where uh, there are trucks with muddy tires. That's where the builders are going to be, and go in there and introduce you to them. I'll try to make this story as fast as I can, but I do tend to tell a 2 minute story in 10 minutes sometimes. Um, but my best referral story ever was before I ever became a realtor. I sold construction equipment for 20 years before I became a realtor, and early into my sales career, I looked at my job as how many contacts I can make in a day, and my goal was 20 every day. But my contacts consisted of either making cold calls or riding out to job sites with a business card in my hand, and I would make a 3 minute connection. Uh, I was interrupting everyone that I stopped to talk to, didn't bring a single bit of value to them. I simply wanted to give them my business card, tell them who I was and what I did, and then move on to the next one. And those business cards probably all got thrown away. Well, one afternoon it was raining. It was probably 4 p.m. It was fall. It was kind of cold. Not as cold as where Jody is, but I am driving through a subdivision trying to get home, and I remember I had on a pair of brand new khakis and a pair of nice pretty new boots. And I see this guy dressed nice, knew it was probably the builder, and frantically running back and forth, putting sod down in this yard. And there were about 12 pallets of sod. So I stopped, as always, jumped out with a business card in my hand. And I remember him saying, I don't have time to talk to a salesman right now. Landscaper didn't show up today. And I've got to get this sod put down before it all turns to mud in the rain. And so I made a quick decision. I could have said, hey, I understand. I could have jumped back in the truck and headed home like I was planning on doing. But I said, hey, I understand. Uh, I grew up with my uncle owning a landscape business. I've worked with him on the weekends several times. I would be happy to help you if you'd allow me to. And, I understand the urgency. All I ask is when we leave, you'll hold on to my business card. If I can ever help anyone that you know, just tell them, hey, I'm a good guy, hard worker, love to help them. And so we worked together. I didn't even know his name at this point, but I worked with him for a solid 4 hours on into the night until we finished this yard and we got the last piece of sod put down. And I totally ruined my shoes. I totally ruined my shirt, my pants, threw them away before I walked in the house so that I didn't get in trouble with my wife. Um, and and for 6 months, I didn't hear from him. His name is John Buttrey. I didn't hear from him, but 6 months later, somewhere around there, I get a call from a guy who needs to buy a piece of equipment, and he wanted to buy a backhoe. It was about a $70,000-$80,000 machine at the time, and I'm still brand new at sales. I haven't sold very much at all at this point. And this guy calls me and says, "Hey, I need to buy a backhoe right away." And a builder that I worked with told me that I need to call you first, that you are an honest guy, you care more about people than you care about transactions, and that I need to give you a shot at this. And so I sold him that piece of equipment. I ended up selling him about 6 more pieces of equipment. He connected me with tons of other contractors. And then eventually that builder came back to me and bought a piece of equipment himself. And we became referral partners. And I realized then what it meant to become a connector. No longer did I focus on cold calls. No longer did I focus on I've got to make 20 contacts a day. I've got to make deep, meaningful relationships. The way Jody and I connected was at Mega Camp at Keller Williams in San Antonio last year. I put out on Facebook, hey, I've got some time on the last day with nothing to do. Would anybody like to grab lunch? We sat and talked with a friend of hers for about an hour, and now we've talked at least every 3 weeks. Since then, I've considered her a close friend. Ozazi, same thing. We met at a lunch, and I feel like we bring value mutually to our relationship. And locally, I focus on that, 100%, even harder, because those deep relationships are where my business comes from. I can make 100 random calls and talk about real estate and it go nowhere. But if I focus on deep relationships with people who my people need to be connected with, uh, I could have fun all day long at work and sell 5 times as much as I would the old way. Um, I've talked a lot. Uh, uh, does anybody have any questions before we move into the next sections? Y'all good? All right. So communicating with people the way they want to be communicated with. business owners in general, but especially builders, many of them are high D's. They're straight and to the point. They are going to be the boss. They're going to talk with you when they're ready to talk with you. And if they're not, even if you're close with them, you just need to understand they're not going to. And so when you understand this, you realize they're not being a jerk to you. They're just all business all the time. And many of the most successful people in service industries like that, uh, they're all about their process, and realize that, and that's good. If you see them sitting alone, it's because they're taking a brief moment of quiet time to kind of debrief the first part of the day. If you see them sitting with somebody, it's not a friendly, like, hey, let's go grab lunch. It's normally a business meeting. It's somebody else, another contractor that they work with. It's a partner, it's a lender, or whatever. Um, and they bring mutual value to each other. And your goal is to get to that table, that your goal is to build that relationship and bring in value. An I am a high I. Uh, you know, my dad could have told everything that I've talked about so far in about 30 seconds because he's a D. And, but I go around the mountain to get to the straight shot sometimes. And and sometimes that's what it takes to build a meaningful relationship. Uh, my dad does not want the relationships. He would be fine with his three best friends and not know anybody else. Um, and so, but realtors and salespeople in general, a lot of times are high I's, are an IS, and knowing your audience and being able to adapt is key there. Sometimes even with an IS that doesn't have a lot of time, you have to adapt to be a D. And so if you're an S, you're very supportive, you're very calm, you're very predictable. A lot of times you're not taking risk. The D is a risk taker. That's the reason he's the builder, and he's taking risk with his money, taking risk with his time, hoping that when he gets this product finished, somebody's going to want it, and so on. The C is calculated. They're organized. They're prepared. I am the furthest away from being a C as anybody in the world, and that's the reason I know early on I had to have a closing coordinator. Otherwise, I would get all this business and I wouldn't be able to close anything because I'd be scattered. So, but relationships thrive when you speak their language, and so that's what that is all about. If you want to wrap it up. One of the biggest hidden assets in every market is builder-owned lots that never got developed. And almost any builder that you talk to either owns vacant lots or they know where one is. They're depending on the public calling them and wanting to build a house. And so they're going to know where to find places to build. And so building that relationship early and bringing value, you're opening up an opportunity that you might not even have to find the vacant lots. They very likely have them and they want to get rid of them. So builders, this help offering to list those vacant lots as proposed construction, combining a lot with a build plan helps the builders secure pre-sale contracts. Buyers discover opportunities because they're seeing your listings, proposed construction listings, and it opens their mind up to, hey, I don't have to compete with everyone for this best house in the neighborhood. I can get my dream home. I just might have to wait 6 months to get it. But I can pick out everything if I run this play. And the best part for you is you earn listings and you earn referrals running this play. When you bring this solution to a builder, through a relationship first approach, they see you as a true partner, not just another salesperson. Partnering with non-builder lot owners. This is a value that most realtors don't think of. We pass these lots every day, and it's a second thought. You're not focused on that. You're going to the next showing. You're doing an open house. You're thinking about, like, this is the quick money, and you're not focused on lots at all. But what you get to do when I'm looking for expires in the MLS, I focus primarily on expired vacant lots, and I get to tell people, hey, number one, they know they want to sell this property. They listed it with someone, or even a for sale by owner. They want to sell this property. You get to go to them and say, hey, if you're still interested in selling this, I have this strategy that I can help you sell the lot, and you don't pay one dime worth of commission, because I roll my commission into the contract of a new build, and you get to sell your lot by default at closing. And even if it's another realtor that had the lot, and and they already have a relationship with that landowner, I might even reach out to them if I know the realtor well and say, hey, would you mind partnering with me? Let's talk to your former client on this expired lot, and we can connect with a builder. I've got several of them that I work with, and we can approach this in a way that they sell their lot by default. You and I work with this builder to get a contract. We get a buyer, and we now have a listing for a home, not just a $40,000-$50,000 lot to sell. A lot more commission available, and the public can see the vision rather than just an empty lot. So it's a win-win for everyone involved. This is the cool part. When someone calls you on a vacant lot, or when someone calls you on a proposed construction listing, I've had to actually start putting in the description at the top in bold, all caps letters, proposed construction, because half the people will call you and ask you when the house is going to be finished, or can they go look at it in the current state. And in most cases doing this, there is nothing to look at. It's just a vacant lot and the plans they see online. But by listing it as proposed construction, they're going to call you, and either they love the plan, they want to build it, but they don't necessarily like the lot that it's on or the area that it is, and they want to ask you, could the builder build it somewhere else? I might have land that I want to build on. I love this house. Would he do that, and what would it cost? And so then you get to have the conversation. Well, this plan was based on the lot costing $50,000, and we know that we're going to take $10,000 worth of excavating, so we've got that factored into this price as well. So if we find a similar situation where all that lines up, then the price can be exactly what it is now, most likely. But if you have a more expensive lot, or it costs more to get it ready, then those factors might need to be adjusted. At the same time, if we find a cheaper lot or a more level lot that doesn't require so much, or if you own the lot, then those things can be adjusted down. But there are tons of options that we can go through, and you have that conversation. Well, they might like the area, but they would like to make changes to the plan, and so you have that conversation as well. And we might even completely change the action and the plan, and the builder would take some time to price that out. The good thing is, in either of these scenarios, you and the builder are already locked in. You've already built your commission into whatever he's doing, so you are following that transaction, and you're a part of it, just like the concrete guy's part of it. He's got your commission built into whatever he does next with that buyer. because you brought in that buyer. So even if they build on their own land, the builder has your commission built into that. Now, typically, I'm going to tell the builder to build in 6%. If they build on their own land and there's not another realtor involved, I'll cut that down to either 3 or 4%, sometimes even 2.5%, depending on the situation. But either way, I'm following that deal. I'm already in. Now, the third scenario is the buyer realizes this process isn't for me. I've got to move faster than the house could be built. Or, most builders following this process, they're going to require the buyer to get their own construction loan. And sometimes that scares the buyer away a little bit. And so you are transparent up front and say, this is what's going to be required. The builder's going to require a deposit up front. They're going to require you to get a construction loan, and you have control of that, but you also, this is what's going to be expected of you. And that process might scare them. But the good thing is now you've built up some trust and rapport with this buyer. And you say, well, now I know kind of what you're looking for. We've discussed what you would like in a house. Let's explore options and see what we can do about finding you an existing home. And let's go look at it, and we'll make an offer and we'll get you a house. And so it secures an opportunity for you to get in front of a buyer that you likely would have never connected with. And most every time, you're also going to have a very strong chance of getting their listing through this process, whether they're building or buying an existing home. It's a way to connect with people on a deep trust-based relationship, and it has accounted. Any of these three scenarios have accounted for about 40 transactions for me so far. So maybe more than that. So and what it does as well is it builds trust with the general buyer, that they're driving through subdivisions that have my name on them, and it helps me build trust with people. Like, if the builder trusts this guy, I know they probably went through a vetting process to choose who they're working with. It's easy for me to trust him if a business owner trusts him. So it's an icebreaker in that way as well. Anybody have any questions before we move forward? All good? All right, use the 7L approach of helping first. Tell me what you love, and let's explore your options. Adapting DISC, as we talked about, the D is looking for quick solutions. The I is looking for excitement and vision. The S, they're looking for reassurance and guidance. And the C wants to see all the data. And sometimes if you're meeting with a buyer or a seller or a builder, you need to prepare like everyone could be any of these things, and you need to you need to be prompt and on time, and for a home builder who's a high D, on time means 15 minutes early. And and they're not going to want to look at all of your data and hear all of it in that meeting, but you better have something to leave behind for them. I have a 35-page booklet that I leave behind with every client, and I could share with them in 5 minutes what the booklet's about. But I'm going to leave that behind, even with a general client, not just a builder, so that if they have a good bit of C in them, or their partner does, the fact that I've got that puts me ahead of some realtors who just don't come in prepared. They come in just talking their game and they leave. It's easy to forget. And so I've put that together so that I've got something to either send up front before the meeting, you can look over it, or at very least leave it behind to look at after I leave. We talked a little bit about this already, but when you get a builder and you work with them and they trust you, you get everybody they're connected to. You start promoting their trade people, promoting their vendors, connecting with their designers. Most of them have an interior designer that helps their people choose all the things to build their house. Well, that designer, in many cases, also takes on clients outside of that. So you can connect that person with flippers. You can connect that person with even people who have already been in a house for years and might want to do an upfit or a change in their home, redecorate. You can connect them, and their fee is normally $1,000 or less, and it helps the guy. All you're doing is bringing value and making connections. You're getting everybody's network, as Michael talks about in 7L. Everybody, you typically know 150 people on a close relationship scale. The cool thing is they all know the same amount of people and they're close to the same amount of people. So when you connect deeply to all these people, you're getting all of their 150 people as well, depending on how deep you go. So this is what Michael talks about, building your ambassador army. And an ambassador is somebody that is selling for you when you're not in the room. Half the time, they don't even realize they're selling for you. And so uh, they're creating opportunities for you uh, without you realizing it. When somebody comes into town, like Rob, if you came to Birmingham and you are brand new to the area, one of the first things I'm gonna ask you is, what's your favorite food? And then when you say your favorite food is barbecue, I'm going to tell you the best barbecue spots in the Birmingham area, and I believe in that because I'm a heavy guy, and the heavy guy knows where the barbecue is, and you better believe him when he tells you. And
Like no
so
fun.
yeah, and so if I tell someone who the best roofer is in town, and they know how connected I am, that's bringing extreme value to that person, but it's bringing even more value to that roofer. My roofer was at my networking event yesterday, and he keeps up with where his source of business, and we had some new people in the room, and he made the statement, Joey has now connected me with 50 people who have hired me to roof their home. And so and I didn't even realize that. I've probably sent his name out to 200 people. But once we make that connection, we don't necessarily know what happens. And he's just one example of the many connections that I strive to make on a daily basis. The more referrals you give and you're intentional about giving referrals, um, I even gave a referral to a chiropractor the other night at my son's basketball game uh, for someone who was talking about being in a bad situation with their back. You know, whatever you do, you're constantly trying to connect with people and connect people to other people, and it's bringing value. And there's no better way to do this than focusing on local contractors and builders. Um, the roofer that you like to use or the plumber that you like to use is likely also working with home builders and remodelers and flippers and investors. And if you haven't asked them for your connections, for their connections, then like once you do that and you're proactive in doing that, it's going to open up your world to their world, and it's going to multiply your business because they trust you, you're bringing value to them, and it's gonna open up more referral opportunities for you every day. Um, Marketing proposed construction. Um, we're asking for the builder to spend a little bit of money here in a lot of cases to get a high quality rendering of their home, You can send out to Fiverr. They're going to charge about $150 to $200 to make a black and white image come to life and look pretty and be something marketable. And that's worth every penny to do that. In a lot of cases, the builder already has that. But you want to be able to show that to your eyes to see what this really could be. The builder wants a fast timeline. He's looking for a client, and you are able to bring that solution and bring that value and get him clients that he would have never gotten without you. The S people, they're looking for like, hey, I need something smooth. I need something comfortable. I need something easy. I don't want a high stress situation. And so whether the builder is the high D type person who is like, take it or leave it, this is my process. Um, I'll build your house, but this is what it's going to take. You get to be the mediator between all those people, and you're a lot of times going to be working with other agents. You're going to be working with all the different personalities, with husband and wife and kids, and uh, likely a first-time homebuyer's dad, and that guy changes personalities every few minutes because he's working against you to try to protect his daughter. Um, all of those things, and you have to adapt to everybody. To just your goal is to help get everybody to the finish line. So relationship is everything, and how you communicate is everything. But your marketing uh, opens doors, provides invitations, creates conversations, and at the end of the day, your professionalism is what gets you to that transaction. Um, every objection is a bridge to deeper trust. Instead of reacting, use 7L for a dialogue framework. Ask a clarifying question, validate the concern, provide a solution, offer an invitation to the next step. And this is for everybody. This is not just working with the builder. This is not just working with the landowner, but you asking more questions builds a deeper relationship. Uh, Understanding when somebody has hesitance about something in the process, listen to them, find out what their real concern is, and then provide a solution. But don't be condescending in your solution. Talk to them as if you were talking to your grandmother. Like, you're not going to be overpowering. You know more about this process and this situation than anybody in the group, but come to them with a full understanding of where they are, because they've never done this, even though it's second nature for you. Even in your general sales contracts and transactions, most people are not buying houses, but every 7-10 years, maybe even longer than that, or some people have never bought a house before. It's second nature for you because it's what you do all day long, every day. But you have to remember when you were in their situation, and you would love to have had someone who's understanding and would explain it to them like a 5-year-old, if that is needed and when that's needed. Examples of having these conversations, a landowner especially, or even a builder especially, who has built their business around, they are the ultimate for sale by owner. These small builders, they'll start. I remember early on working with a guy who he would buy a lot. He would start framing a house. He would put a sign in the yard. He was a home builder, and it had his personal cell phone on the sign. And he was banking on somebody driving by, seeing what he was doing, and calling him and getting that house under contract before he finished it. And he would drag his feet a little bit on building so that they would have the opportunity to pick their colors and their finishes and their flooring and all that stuff. And I pitched him this strategy and said, hey, you don't have to pay my commission. You take what you were going to sell this house for and let me bump it up a little bit, add my commission into it, and then I'm marketing it out to 4,000 other realtors and the entire general public who's got a search criteria for what you're building already. And I'm going to be able to market this in a way that you don't have access to. And the best part is you don't have to deal with buyers and you don't have to deal with realtors. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to handle all that. All you got to do is focus on builders, on building the house. And I ended up selling 5 homes for him. And he connected me with another realtor who I've sold over 10 homes for. He saw the value in what I was doing because I brought value first. So when they don't want to pay commission, hey, I totally understand. But with my strategy and with my system, you're not going to have to. Builders who already have agents. I've recently connected with a builder who has an agent. I've been trying to help his agent run this play, and he has no interest in doing so. And he's an old school guy. He just has their lots listed as lots for sale, $40,000 lots. He's not getting calls for them, but he has a sign out there that says, "We'll build to suit." Well, he's generally trying to get his builder a contract to build a house, but he's not going to get paid on the construction of that house. He's just trying to sell the lot. And I've tried to tell him this strategy that you can keep the lot for sale. Even the builder, he can keep the lot for sale by owner if he wants to. And if he does, then he doesn't have to work with me or you to sell the house. He can still do what he's doing and get the same result. But if you list his lot as proposed construction and you put a rendering out there, you put a house plan out there, now this $40,000 lot can become a $500,000 listing. And instead of getting $1,000 for you selling the lot, you can get $12,000 for selling a house, and you've created a vision for everybody driving by that, hey, this is what can be built right here. And everybody who opens up Zillow or Realtor.com is also going to see it. And you're going to connect with buyers who may or may not want this house or this lot, but also you can connect with them to find whatever it is they want. And you're providing ultimate value to your builder. So through all these conversations, now the builder owns other lots in other areas, and he's having conversations with me about marketing those and continuing with the other guy because the other guy's been his guy for a long time. And I told him up front, hey, I respect loyalty. I love loyalty when it comes to me, and I'm not going to be the guy to try to take you away from your realtor. But if you're asking me to market these others and he's not willing to do it, I'm 100% in for that. And hopefully through that process, the other guy sees the value in the system and starts doing the same thing. And if and when that happens, I wash my hands of that transaction relationship and everybody's happy. This guy's found a new way to be successful, and I'm going to keep doing my thing with my other builders. I want every realtor around me to win, and if I can help them do that, that's me. I'd much rather end up one day being a real estate coach than chasing transactions every day. So, and then again, one of the biggest objections I hear on a regular basis about this is it's stressful from the buyer and from the other realtor on the other side. And it is a long game. Sometimes it's 6, 8 months before, like from start to finish on the house. Sometimes it's 3 months to get to the starting place. But you uh, insist, hey, I'm here to guide through the entire process. I'm going to communicate with everyone involved. I'm going to drive by. I'm going to give you picture updates of what your house is. And anytime you need me, I'm here. And I'm going to spend a lot of time to make that commission. But because I'm spending all that time, it's going to repeat itself over and over and over. And I'm going to gain the trust. I have other agents at this point who are running this system, but they're still calling me to co-list homes with them because they're timid about jumping in. They're afraid they're going to mess up and not bring the value to the relationship that they need to do. And so I've even connected them with some of the builders that I work with on a regular basis because it brings value to my builder. It gets him another contract. And I know that he's going to remain loyal to me because I helped him put all that together. And also, if I'm bringing enough value to other agents, especially in my area, whenever I'm the one bringing them an offer and there's 3 other realtors bringing them an offer, mine seems to slide to the top because I'm bringing value to those guys. My hope is the same thing for realtors outside my area. I want to be bringing so much value to you that you don't think about another Birmingham realtor. So uh, so that's overcoming some of those objections. Um, Going deeper into disc styles, this can take a long time, and I know we all have lots of things to do. So I'm going to leave some of this part to let you go through and look at some of this. But here's one thing that I will reiterate: when someone gets a construction loan, it's a construction perm, and your general lender most of the time is going to have a construction perm where the bank is going to offer the construction loan. That's a 12-month. It's going to be a higher interest rate to go construction perm, but it is um, if you get someone on a construction perm, you're getting paid in 30 days or 45 days as if you were selling a resale house, as opposed to if you get a construction loan, the builder, that's a relationship with the builder and the bank. It gets refinanced at the end of the build and you don't get paid until that point. Now, I would encourage you not to try to sway the situation either way. I typically give my buyers 2 to 3 lenders to contact and a local bank, and I say let them talk financing with you. I'm not even going to attempt to talk rates and processes. You guys have those conversations, and whatever is the best fit for you, that's what we all look for. The builder is not going to care either way. He just wants to make sure his draws are coming on time from whoever's financing that deal. If you end up in a situation where you're working with a cash buyer, insist on getting 10% down and seeing proof of funds and having a holdback to make sure that builder feels comfortable with what he's getting into, and stay on top of that. Weekly Thursday calls, updating everybody or whatever fits the situation. Be super involved if it's a cash situation, because they might have cash today, but they might go to Vegas tomorrow and then they got nothing. And you want to make sure at the end of the day you're protecting your relationship with that builder no matter what. Um, Builders care more about their bottom line and their process than anything else. Their time is super valuable. Most builders, the local small builders, can take on 4 to 5 builds at a time. The good thing is most of them know 4 or 5 other builders, and if you're providing value to one, they're going to introduce you to others, and you can just continue running this system. It'll get to where it takes over your life if you let it. But it is a very, very lucrative way to make a living. And you walk into the local cafe as a famous person, everybody knows you because you're providing value to everybody there. And it's, I'm not a boastful person at all, but when I walk into the lunch places behind me, I don't ever get to eat lunch by myself because somebody knows me, and I'm not going to walk past them without shaking their hand. And when I do that, they invite me to sit down. Or if I'm sitting down, even working at one of those places, they come and plop down with me, and the work has to go aside, and we have a conversation for an hour. That's where my business comes from, and so that's where the value is. Um, when you're making these presentations, again, bring a checklist, bring a summary of what you do, a spectrum of solutions is what Michael Maher calls it. Show who you are. Even if they're not going to read it, they appreciate that you have it and that you brought it and that you're prepared. Talk to them like you're building a relationship, but prepare for them like you're never going to see them again. And that paperwork has to sell for you when you leave there. And so when you get the opportunity, you know, and you have these vacant lots to list, and uh, you have the opportunity to sell for them, put up a nice sign, put up a rendering of the house that could go there, and be super professional. Be proactive on social media, even if you don't have the listing and you're not working with these builders yet. As we said before, go in and market them as if you are working for them. There's a book called Be Your Future Self Now. If you've ever got that book or read that book, go in acting as if you already have the business that you're looking for. Market to everyone as if you're working for this builder, because the typical public doesn't know the difference. Same thing if
Hey, Joe,
if you just
the,
go and preview a house. I went and previewed a house with one of my team members early this week, and uh, I sent out a video walkthrough of the neighborhood, and I got 3 texts from people saying, "Hey, that new listing you got is amazing." I didn't tell them any different. I'm just like, "Hey, thanks. Let me know if I can ever help you with anything." And that's the general consensus. People see what you're doing, and they're drawn to you for that. If you do this for home builders, other home builders are going to take notice, and they're going to reach out to you, and you're consistent in what you're doing, and it's going to draw others to you because they want what that other guy has in someone being an advocate and an ambassador for them. Uh, any questions?
No questions. This is really good, Joy.
Good, good. Um, so there's a lot of this talking about how to notice the different styles, and it can go super in depth on the different behavior styles and personality styles. Again, I can't stress enough knowing who you are in this strategy and picking up who they are, and knowing, like, if I'm talking to a high D, I have to mirror that high D. If I'm talking to a high I, we may never accomplish anything and spend the entire day talking about nothing. And feel like feel like I've worked that day. And I probably went super in depth with that person, and they're going to tell everybody about me. But we didn't accomplish anything that besides talking to each other. And sometimes that's what's needed to move the needle. But if you do that with a D or a C, you're closing them off. You're building a wall. Like I can't get anything done. I don't have time to talk with Joey or meet him for coffee because it's going to waste my entire day. Um, so realize who you're talking with and how to approach them. And at the end, a team approach. If you know that you're working with a high D and you can't communicate with a high D, bring a high D with you. One of the builders that I work with right now has an investor partner who I knew up front. The builder warned me, like, he's not going to want to talk with you. He's going to want to know numbers. He's going to know process. He's going to know bottom line. So I brought a lender with me to that meeting who is that same person. And I had that lender, I coached him on how to share who I am. And I basically kept my mouth closed and let him sell for me. And I got an entire subdivision of homes because he was there. And so realize you're not always the guy, you're not always the person who can bring this value. Sometimes you need someone else in your corner, and that's going to be more value than you can bring yourself. So you guys have the presentation. If there's anything that I can answer for you moving forward, I'm here. You got my phone number. If we can do a one-to-one talking about this or anything else that I can ever help you with, there's very likely things that you can help me with, and I would love that. Reach out, let's connect. And if there's a realtor in South Carolina, good friend of mine, Lynn Faselli. She jumped on board with this before I ever even started teaching the class. And she now has a builder that she's working with on a regular basis. We talked almost every week for probably 2 months, maybe longer, about how to approach this, how to find the landowners, how to talk to them. And then she was one of the primary reasons I started teaching the class, because she was like, you need to put this on paper because like it's all in your mind and you're sharing it, but some people don't retain things just by listening. They want to see the real paper. So me and ChatGPT spent about 10 hours putting together this presentation, and then about 30 hours of me making it into my own language of, Southern United States lingo. And so this is what we ended up with. And it's probably not perfect, and that's why I want to extend my offer. Anytime you have a question about this, even if you want me to get on a phone call with you and a potential home builder or a potential land sales, reach out and we'll make that happen. So, and I appreciate you guys coming in.
Much appreciated, Joey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If there's nothing else, we will shut it down here.
Good
And,
job. It was a great presentation. I enjoyed
Thanks
it.
so much, Joy. This is great value.
Awesome. I'm glad you guys liked it. And hey, if there's anything that we can connect and help each other in any way, that would be wonderful. I've got all your phone numbers. If I have someone coming your direction, I'm sending them to you, and would appreciate the same thing.
Start calling you Joey Birmingham.
Joey, what?
Joey Birmingham.
There you go. That's what we need. That's what we
Yep.
need. So
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
Thank you.
thanks, guys. You guys have a great day, and we will talk with you soon.
You too.
Too.
You too. Bye for now.
Bye.
You.